Hello, it's the media center of Odessa, and we are continuing our day of briefings. And today, our guest, the last for today, the head of the Council of the Independent Association of Banks of Ukraine, Olena Korobkova, and she's telling us she's going to tell us about the operations of the Bank of Ukraine in the current situation in Ukraine. Hello, the banking system is quite stable now, and basing on viewing the history, and considering that there was a gap in the work of banks, now everything is better, and we are continuing smoothly our operations and trying to improve all the current affairs in our sphere. For the month, 30 a great number of banks become more profitable for the last month, and 38 of them are getting higher and higher profits and better results. So, according to the statistics, almost 100% of banks in Ukraine were profitable for this period. And now the banking system, our banking is becoming even more stable. We are trying to support the businesses, the civilians, and now the Ukrainian banking system, it is about the communication, it is about the restructuring, location, reorganization, and transformation of businesses, and basing it's all of this because of the current affairs, current situation, as lots of businesses, they are moving their sites, their venues abroad. Now, I would love to tell you that we are quite stable right now. Why? As we together with the National Bank, the National Bank of Ukraine, we managed to stop the fluctuations, as at the beginning we had 4 or 5 rates, and now we have only 2, and the state budget of Ukraine has now 42. But it does not mean that it will be 42, but it means that all the Ukrainian banking system, they are recalculating all the funds going to our country to support businesses and Ukrainians. And all this this index shows only as the fact of convenience of calculation. The exchange rate now is fluctuating. It will be the same for about 2 months, and we should understand that by the end of the year, we are to get more currency, more foreign currency back coming to our budget, and that is why the rate is increasing, and the index, the figure will be less. It was about the exchange rate. And if to speak about the contributions, about the deposits and the security deposits in our country, now we are providing the 100 guarantee for all the banks, and that is why at the beginning of the war we were observing such a trend that it was highly important for people. It is was so urgent for people to get back their funds from the banks to keep at home. And then what we had, they were just returning back to the banks and making again new deposits. Now we see that it's more beneficial now to keep money at banks, even than to keep it somewhere at home. The international reserves of the National Bank of Ukraine, they have increased, and now the figure is 22.5 billions of US dollars. This these reserves, they are uncomparable with the reserves with the funds before the war, but still they are quite good now. Now we were performing a very interesting, we were conducting a very interesting questionnaire poll. It was our research. We were analyzing at the end of August. We were conducting polls, online polls among civilians. We were analyzing the results, the information given by the people through the interviews, and we got the following results. 49% of people answered that they were and are still here in Odessa, in Ukraine. Regarding the IDPs, the portion has increased. Their portion of those people who are not willing to get back to Ukraine, this portion has increased. What we need then, we should search for some tools how to return our civilians, our people to Ukraine. The polls conducted showed us that that a plenty of people abroad, some percentage, they still have no job, they are not employed, so they are in the process of searching for a job. Some people are already employed, and that is why they are not willing to return to Ukraine. But still, the portion of such people, of those who are not willing to get back to Ukraine, is still high, and we are still in need of searching of a new tool how to return our civilians back home. The portion of the people who do not highly save their money, their assets, this portion also has increased. The people do not save money regarding the food, the clothes. So we see the consumer costs, the portion of consumer costs has increased. Regarding the loans, the users, it's highly low trend among the users. It's at about 2% to 2.3%. Not that many people use loans. people, those people who are IDP, they get loans, and their portion, their percentage is about 18%. Regarding the state programs and how it is possible to use such a program, now we have changed some of the terms and conditions, and we are sharing the information about among our clients for people to get a more clear picture of procedures, how it's possible to get loans and how to use them. Here we changed the about the terms about the package of loans, about the portfolio loans. So now the percentage is 40%. The Now we have some restructuring processes, and it helped people, it helped us to assist in saving businesses. Now the banks provide their loans in the form of limits on credit cards, and loans and credits for cars and for property. In 2020, this campaign was not used, and now it's kind of more revived. And now we are also launching another program in in terms of loans. Um, it's about 3%. So for people, it is possible to get a loan at the rate of 3%, and it is applied for servicemen and for the persons suffered from the warfare. Now we have such a statistics that 33% using the loans. It's service members, 22% it's teachers, and other portions, other percentages are distributed among other groups of people. The initial contribution, initial deposit is about 20%, so it helps us to plan our future activities. When a person has if a person, for instance, if to speak about this, if a person loses a property, or his or her property is damaged, so in our application DIA, we have special options, special services assisting in resolving these matters, and the Ukrainian banks are also involved. But it's impossible only to rely upon the banking systems, so we need to think it over and try to resolve this problem, to create something new, which is to be more helpful in this area regarding the property and damages incurred. About if to speak about the mortgage, if to speak about the properties which was pledged, and if it is damaged now, we need to think this problem over and to get the understanding how it is better in resolving this. Regarding the programs conducted by the Ukrainian banking system, now at the beginning of the year, it was a program for supporting the farmers, and the program was devised therefore for supporting their more and more for getting more harvest and more for improving their agricultural processes, and we are continuing this program and trying to improve it more. Regarding the about speaking about the analysis of the clients of banks, how people behave in this current situation, how to analyze it, if to analyze their credit histories, their loan histories, their banking stories, we see the specific results that some indices have increased. Thank you. I have a short question. Um, how many banks have stopped working for the war? Not just one bank has stopped. Lots of banks have terminated their activities, not just due to the warfare, due to the problems which they had before the war. Could you please enlist them? Megabank, for instance. If generally speaking, according to the criteria of the national banking system, um, we have a specific number of stable banks, and they are highly reliable, and they compose at about 90% of the whole banking system of Ukraine. Now we have developed, the government has developed a new tool for restructuring, refinancing the banks, but now this tool is not allowed. There are some changes as banks trying to keep their reserves and try to keep their activities, their businesses. Yeah, you were also speaking about the deposits, about the contributions. It was not just about grivna deposits or about any deposits in any currency. Yes, it was about any currency. If somebody has a question, please, we are awaiting your questions. The persons are willing to get a mortgage for the property damage, or what were you talking about? Could you please specify this matter? Now in Ukraine, we need to calculate the number of damaged property for us to understand and to inform the donors, when we communicate with the national or international donors, for informing them about the number of specific number of the damaged property. Um, for instance, if something happens to a property where you reside, your flat or house, what to do? You need to turn to refer to the special service. You need to use our application, DIA, national application, and there is a specific service with the information, with a specific tool, how to apply for aid uh, in for the case of damaged property. Um, for it is needed for getting some guarantees for some funds, for some monetary help for repairing property or acquiring a new place where to reside. But now we are still working on this too, trying to improve it. how fair the commercial banks are working now with the Ukrainian um, banking system of Ukraine. How much is dependent on the Ukrainian system and on the assistance of the international partners? Thank you for your question. Um, you, do you understand Ukrainian perfect? Um, Now we have the problem with the insufficient financing of the Ukrainian budget. The number makes about the amount is quite high. Regarding the commercial banks, you see, now at the memorandum of Ministry of Finance of Ukraine, we get the information if to see their percentage is about 69%. Last year, we had their number of 45%, and now their portion it's about 56%, and their portion is quite high. And based on our experience, the operations of commercial banks, their activities are more efficient than the activities of the national banks. There was some reforming in the banking system and new regulations introduced. Now the banking system is more smooth. We see that the liquidity is about 7 billions, and we have free funds which we can use, which we can freely use. But we need to understand how and who for it should be used. But we understand that we should support businesses, we should provide loans, and basing on our past experience, the country gets faster after the warfare if the small and average business develops vividly, actively. We see what we have now. We lost a great number of territories, great number of plants in Mariupol and other regions. So we are thinking over the processes how to restore this sphere. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for being with us. Today we're finishing our day of briefings. Tomorrow will be very interesting. It will be speeches of two ministers and press conference about the warfare, about the war situation in the south of Ukraine. Come to us to our media center, and let's see each other tomorrow.